Hello everyone, it's Julie from sproutsandstems.com here, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about trailing plants for every light level. So before I get into that, please take 2 seconds to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any new planty content from me. Any plants, supplies, etc. that I mention in my videos can always be found at the link in the video descriptions. And for even more planty content and to get houseplant help, check out the links to my Patreon or YouTube membership also in the description. And now I'll get into the video. I've grouped these plants, low light, medium light, bright, indirect light, four, that's correct, 4 for each. And just my usual disclaimer of there is no plant that thrives in low light. Most plants will do better in brighter light, but there are some plants that just tolerate low light a lot better than others. Okay, so let's start with my low light plants. So for these, I try to pick some plants that have unique characteristics and will retain those unique characteristics in low light. So number one for trailing plants for low light is Scindapsus pictus, also known as the satin pothos, even though it's not actually a pothos. These plants have like silvery, shimmery variegation to them. They're really unique. I have found that they do maintain their variegation even in lower light levels. By the way, I have my list down here, so that's why I'm looking down. Number 2 is Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. I have grown this plant in low light, and I've found that it's hard for this plant to not grow. It's hard for this plant to not thrive. Like, I've grown it in all different light levels, and I've never had a problem with it. I consider it a very beginner-friendly plant. And of course, I have it on like a chain, like a hanging basket thing. It has these unique fenestrations, which is why it's nicknamed the mini monstera, because you might confuse it for like a baby Monstera deliciosa. But the fenestrations on the Rhaphidophora tetrasperma don't fully close. They're always like open like this, whereas the Monstera will have like holes in the middle of the leaves. But that's another low light trailing hanging plant option. And the next one is Monstera adansonii. And yes, Monstera adansonii will get a bit leggy in lower light, but they will still retain those fenestrations that we want, the splits and the holes in the leaves. More light will mean more and bigger fenestrations, but adansonii is a smaller fenestrated plant anyway, so you'll still have plenty of fenestrations on the Monstera adansonii in low light. And last for low light, I picked the Cebu blue pothos because that plant has a unique, like bluish, silvery-ish hue and also a unique leaf shape, and it will still stay like that in low light. So check out the Cebu blue pothos as well. Now we'll move into medium light. Number 1 for medium light, I picked the string of hearts. It's my favorite string of plant. I've seen some people say that they can grow this in low light, which if you can, that's awesome. I'm jealous. For me, I've always needed medium to bright indirect light to grow a happy string of hearts. The Philodendron Brazil. I didn't put this in low light because even though the plant itself can grow in low light, it will lose a lot of its really cool lime colored variegation, and then it'll just end up looking like a heartleaf philodendron. But medium light and up, the Philodendron Brazil is a great option, and it'll keep its unique, like kind of stripy lime variegated coloring. Prayer plant, of course, had to include prayer plant on here. I think sometimes when people think of trailing houseplants, prayer plant isn't necessarily the first one that comes to mind, but once they get like big and full, they are a really cool looking hanging trailing plant. And then when you have the leaf movement at night, that makes it even cooler. And yeah, prayer plant is a great medium light option. And then last but not least, Cupid peperomia or Peperomia scandens, aka Cupid peperomia, is a good medium light option. And this is a peperomia that actually kind of looks like a pothos, so it is very like trailing and luscious and whatnot. And similar to the Philodendron Brazil, it will maintain for the most part its variegation in medium light. In low light, it could lose it and just turn like a solid color green. But in medium light, it should be able to maintain most of its beautiful variegation. It is nicknamed the Cupid peperomia because it does have kind of like heart-shaped leaves. So that's adorable. And now for bright indirect light. And we're doing bright indirect because there's not many houseplants that want full-blown direct sun. Some benefit from like a little bit of it daily, but we're just keeping it easy, sticking with bright indirect. So I chose the Tradescantia Nanook. And now you can go for like any Tradescantia. I just chose the Nanook because that's my favorite one, and it's pretty and purpley pink. And you can grow this plant in lower light levels, but I will say it will be like obnoxiously leggy and stretched out, and it will lose a lot of its pinky purple color. So if you want to keep that full bushy look and that coloring, definitely bright indirect light. And this one can take some time to trail because the stems are very, very thick and stiff. So it'll grow like up a lot, but then eventually it'll start like winding all around and doing that. So there's one option for you. Spider plant, it's not really a trailing plant, but I was trying to think of more like outside the box options. And once you have a really like full spider plant that has a lot of babies and it starts to get really big, and maybe you keep some of the babies on there, it can have a very cool cascading effect, even though it's not like a full-on trailing plant. String of turtles. String of turtles is, after string of hearts, is my favorite string of plant. Another plant that people say they can grow in lower light, but I personally have never been able to do that. The string of turtles I've always had better luck with in bright indirect light. And yeah, the little turtles are just so cute. Can't go wrong with a string of turtles. And then my last one, trying to again go for more like different kind of options, the Hoya linearis. Now, when I was picking out, I'm not a Hoya person. I just think they grow like too slow and I get bored of them. But when I was coming up with this list and picking out the plants, I was like, you know what? Maybe I can be a Hoya linearis person because they're so cool looking. If you're patient and you give them enough time, they can get really long, and you can grow them in lower light again, but in bright indirect light, that's going to be the best way to encourage flowering. And Hoya flowers are like the most glorious, delicious smelling. Yes, they smell amazing. I used to have a Hoya that would just like flower in one spot every now and then. And I'd be like, oh, look at it. And I'd just sniff it. And then it'd go away and then it would come back. And yeah, it's really, really, really pretty. The flowers are amazing. The Hoya linearis is a really cool looking trailing plant. If you want them to flower, then definitely they will do well in bright indirect light. And that's my list. So that's trailing plants for low light, medium light, and bright indirect light. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any other like fun options or just any trailing plants that you like. Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you guys next time.